Happy Tuesday, Foxfires! How are you all doing? Welcome in, Puffin. Welcome in, Shade Darkfire. Hello, Rocks. Hello, Name. Hello, Blaze. Hello, Seven. Stackies. Get those Soulba stacks in. And Wolves, welcome back from vacation and happy 31 months. Welcome to the Demon Army, of course, Wolves. Thank you for the Demon General subby. Get those salutes in the chat. Welcome in. Dorgy, hello, hello. Studying blank canvas intensifies. It is blank right now because I was hiding my work from last week. I won't show it yet. But yes, welcome in, Realities. Today is our study day. So we are going to be doing some more art study. We have our usual kind of outline that we're probably going to be doing tonight. So I'll show a little bit of what I got done. I did actually get some time to sit down and study a little bit. So I have a couple of examples from what I did on my off time. And then lost your chicken part. Where is Chicken? He's open. That's a great question. Where is Chicken? If I restart him? Okay, I don't know. He's on my screen. Oh, he's crashed. He crashed apparently on opening. Let's reopen him. I was like, I can see the application open. But yes, there you go. He should pop up soon. We have our usual kind of what we're gonna be doing. I did get some work done, so we'll look at some of the homework I got done. Then maybe we'll look at doing a little warm-up review from last time. So we'll do like maybe another take a picture and do a circle example. Then we'll move into any critiques if anybody has some, and then finish up with the new lesson for today. The new lesson for today, finally, we're through the theory and we're into application today. So the last 2 weeks, classes have been all about the theory of light. This lesson, we're actually going to be kind of drawing lighting onto an anime character example that Isham has. That's kind of like the homework from Isham in the course this week. So yeah, we'll be taking that and then actually applying light examples today. So yeah. Yay! Exactly. So, without further ado, it's a snow fox and a snow art print. Snow fox in a snowstorm. You broke him. You broke the chimkin. Here is what I got done as my homework. So I had this. I think was our homework example one, right? I think this piece. So this was my lighting. I just did a top-down lighting example here, which not too bad. I think it turned out okay. I think it's pretty representative. Representative. That's the word. I was like, I put the stresses in the wrong place on that word. And then also I grabbed, so this is some artwork by Ilsham, the teacher of the course. And I really love these 2 pieces that they did. I just like specifically loved this backlighting look that they did. With kind of like the underwater and both sitting in the water. So I wanted to kind of study what they did in these 2 images here, right? So for this one, again, it's got like these 2 art pieces have kind of 2 lighting scenarios. They do have the main light up here, right? Coming down and shining onto the character. And then they have a secondary light that is shining as a backlight coming straight at the camera, right? So you can see that kind of blue haze behind the character. So that just means there's another light that's coming straight at us, straight into the lens. And then, yeah, the main light. So for this, I just chose to do a skin block, essentially, because personally, I always find skin shading and skin tones difficult for me personally when I'm doing art. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna use these and also study the kind of colors and shading they use in the skin and technique. So that's what I made as my little ball center here. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I cannot complain. I really, really enjoyed it. And then also same thing for this one. So again, this one also has 2 light sources, but this one, the light is coming from top down, right from the sky or the ceiling. You can notice that by the lighting on her nose, right? And like on top of her breast here and the shoulders. See, and you can kind of see, right, the cast shadow of their head right underneath there. So that's kind of like the indication of where the main light is coming from. That's what I like noticed, right? Same as with this one. I was just observing where the light is coming from, right? And that's how I can determine where the main light source is or what direction. So like again, we have very strong light on her hair here and a bit of the top of the nose, which means the top of the nose is like a good indication that it's like the light is upper. And then it's a little bit to the side here, right? Where it's really strong on this side where you get more cast shadows on the side of her sleeve over here. So it's just indicating that it's coming this way, right? So that's kind of like how you can study from an image where light is coming from in an illustration. So yeah. Oh, and then for this one too, like I noticed that the backlight is actually coming not directly from behind into the camera. It's still coming into the camera a bit, but it is a little bit lower because it's coming from more where that water is. So I just had to drew it a little bit to visualize there, right? So it's stronger on the bottom than it is the top. So you can see like that blue, I have way stronger down here than I do up here, right? And then yeah, again, I just wanted to practice the skin coloring because I think that's something that I need to work on and struggle with. And I really noticed, this one I wanted to put in the water too as like a practice for the skin. So I did just like a little kind of rough environment of the ball sitting in a water puddle as well. And I really noticed the like on the face in these like high contrast areas too, they often have like this rim of shading right around the edge. So that was something I picked up in their skin coloring and I liked it, so I added it. Again, studying. So yeah, those are my examples. And I figured maybe I will do the same thing again. So I'll find an example of one of Isham's pieces that I really like. And we can study it. I know they had like a really pretty one that was, oh, this one, that was like all in light. It could be kind of fun to do. Let's try this one. So yeah, we'll do a warm up. It's always good to do some warm up. This one I think is really, it's very warm and sunny and kind of different from the other ones I've done. Maybe we could do like 2 different lighting variations with the same art. That would be kind of cool too. Good study. All right, let me find the circle from last week. I think they're in this. Example. And I'm gonna call this warm up. Oh, hold on. I gotta, what's today's date? 2024, 09, 24. I didn't set up my layers yet. I've been basically saving all the study work that I've been doing on one canvas, right? So like you can see all the way back to when we started on January, February, March, April 12th. This is where we started, April 12th, 2024. I'm really curious like what we'll do in 1 year is kind of why I started this. But yeah, all the work since then I've been saving, and I've also made a canvas time lapse. So I actually have like a time lapse of me working in this document over the whole year. So I'll see kind of like what we covered in that year in a really like quick loop. I'm excited to see it. Also, welcome in, Scarecrow. How does that measuring thing work around the canvas? It's a very long time lapse. How does the measuring thing work around the canvas? Which measuring thing? Oh, this guy. This. I didn't mean to press it. If you hit Control R, it'll bring up the ruler and close it. I usually don't have it on, but yeah, it's just a ruler. So 0 pixel is this corner, and then the pixels just get bigger from there, right? And they adjust. But yeah, Control R will bring it up or put it away. It's a good question. It's good to know for some things. Sometimes I need it, so. Very good question. There we go. Example 1. Okay, so we're gonna do some setting. So kind of like what I end up first thinking is, again, where is the main light source coming from? Which, this one's tricky because it's so filled with light. But I think the strongest is coming from this direction because we have, you know, a patch here, kind of a patch here. The patch is on her wrist or palm. And then we have that cast shadow here, right, from the window. So it kind of looks like it's behind, and I think it is just the one light source coming from this direction, right? Kind of like behind. Kind of like that. I think is where the light's coming from. Little bit above, but from behind here. And I think that's the only one. So yeah, that's step 1. Identify the main light source or any secondary lights if there is, like the other one had. And then our next step is going to be the environment, right? Oh, sorry, I'm just gonna move this onto the proper layer because I mislayered. There we go. All right, determining the environment. So let's do, I'm gonna do probably the same thing. I'm gonna make another skin block because that's what I wanna study first. Maybe for the second one, maybe we could do like the jacket color or something to do something different. But I'm gonna start with skin color. So I'm just gonna try to color pick something, something in here as the medium color. So I'm trying to find kind of like the midpoint color, something that isn't in shadow. Like I don't want to pick up a color that's going to be like darker in the shadow area, and I don't want to pick up something that's too far in the highlights either, right? I'm trying to find kind of like the mid-tone color so that I get that base on there, right? Because I want to be adding my own shadows and darkness. So in the skin, I'm just searching for kind of a mid-tone. And then we need a background. So I'm gonna press W, select the background. What kind of environment shall we put it in? I guess we'll just put it in this kind of wall color as the environment. make a table for it. Something for it to sit on. And then the lighting color is pretty close to solid white, actually. So we got this window from behind. Hello, Natsume-san. Welcome in. And Pichu, welcome, welcome. Oh, and Steffi. And let's go with that. All right. So now we have our environment added. So the next step is adding your main light or direct lighting. So I'm gonna pick up kind of that direct light from the face, right? So whoa, you want a crown? Congratulations. So I want to pick up the very brightest part, right, of this kind of face, and we're gonna add that direct lighting onto the sphere. Oops. So I'm just using W, selecting the sphere again, and I'm making a new layer to, again, separate all these pieces. I'm gonna choose a soft brush, and I'm gonna start by adding that very light, diffused lighting. And then I'm actually gonna grab a little bit lighter spot and go even brighter right in the middle of it. Like so. And that is our direct light. So label that direct light. There we go. So next layer is going to be our shadows, right? So direct light and then shadow. That's just the way that I do it in. I think Isham does ambient lighting next. I like to do the form shadows and cast shadows next, but it's a personal preference, as long as you get them in there. All right, so now our cast shadow is gonna be coming out this direction. Something like that. Love this warm sunny light. And then I am going to pick up some of this darker environmental lighting and make a soft shadow again. I have earned my royal title today via fishing. You stole my crown. Again. Just switching between using C and doing the dark shadow. This is the lighter shadow. And I might add in a little bit of, I wonder if this will, yeah, I think that'll look. Just into the shadows here, add a little bit more of that yellow lighting that's really prevalent. And then I'm just gonna grab soft brush again, change it to a transparent using C. And I'm just going to soften up these edges. Especially right at the back here. I'm gonna really have it diffused. Something like that. Hello, you kid. Welcome in. And Pepe, hello, hello. It's mine, but I'll share. Just this once. Sneaks back into class. What the heck? You've been caught, Seven. You've been caught. And then I'm also in this environment. Add this bright yellow just to the tabletop back here a little bit where this light is the strongest. Yeah, something like that. Right? Maybe I'll pick up actually a little bit of this too. Just give it a little bit of ambient kind of shadows just to make it look a little more 3D. Then let's do, so that is shadows for the environment, cast shadows done. We're gonna need now form shadows on the sphere. So let's select the sphere again. And now I'm gonna find the shadow in the face again because I'm working on the face, right? And practice placing it right down here. Gah. Where are we going? All right, so that should be the kind of form and cast shadows finished. So next we're gonna add in the ambient light or reflected light or both. Okay, so this down on her leg here, actually you can really see that reflected, that environmental and reflected light. So like all this yellow of her jacket, right, is causing light to scatter and end up on the leg here. So you can see a lot of that reflected light. Even here on the side of the arm here, you can see a little bit of that yellow coming through too. So I'm gonna choose again a soft brush. I'm gonna add just a little bit of this. Actually, I think I might add the reflected yellow down here because that's where I added the more yellow light to be stronger. And kind of the environmental light is just this strong white again. Like kind of the room white. Just leave it as that. All right, so now we've got a, actually gonna lighten it up a little bit. Oh, that's why. I'm like, why does it keep not erasing? Because you're not on the eraser key, Lily. There you go. So just a little hint of bounce light from the light coming in, bouncing off the table and ending up here. And then last step is adding, I think, the details is what she says, right? And what I definitely notice is the strong rim lighting, right? Because the light is kind of coming from behind her face here and like over here. There's this very, very strong kind of halo. So I'm actually gonna add that in with a hard brush. And add in this. Very strong. Rim lighting. All right, I think that's pretty much it. So there is our kind of first example. But let's do another one. And I kind of want to, like, yeah, do another one from the same piece. Should we change the lighting direction or should we change which piece we do? Or I guess we could do both. Sure, let's try both. Why not? So first, find our main lights. We're gonna change where the main light source is coming from on this one. And let's just do top down. Why not? Maybe I should do it coming from the back a little bit. I like that because it kind of keeps it still in the theming where it's still coming from behind a little bit. We're just changing, kind of moving it over a little bit. Akbar, thank you for the raid. Welcome in, raiders. My name's Lily. Today we're doing some art study lessons. And yeah, today is basically we're going to be taking the theory that we had from the last 2 weeks and we are applying it to some examples today, but we're just doing a bit of review from last week right now. How was your stream though? Playing some Sonic. How was your Sonic playing? Welcome in, Lolis. Hello, Garrick. Nice, yeah. We're doing lots of learning. We're getting far. So I'm gonna change the environment on this one just a bit. I'm gonna choose her jacket to do kind of as the main color source this time. And then pick up a environment for it. We could still put it on a table, or we could just put it in a void too. Let's put it in a void this time. Making it look different. It'll be different but the same. Kind of like this. Now we've got like a door frame, kind of like hers now. Sonic was good. No major bugs this time somehow. That's good. Have you had like a lot of game breaking bugs? That's never fun. And I feel like it happens a lot in those older games too. Kind of emulating this background that they have. Would doing just scenery pictures be all right at the moment as a start to this? Absolutely, Blaze. Absolutely. You can pick any, I think technically doing a scenery is harder and probably better practice than choosing an illustration. Because an illustration will very clearly tell you where the lighting is coming from and stuff, where I feel like sometimes in a landscaping it might be harder to find those things, so. You're just getting better practice. Oh, now I'm gonna actually, kind of, because it's so bright, I'm gonna soften up the shadows on this environment here. So it looks like the sun is coming right through whatever kind of like blind or doorway thing Isham has going on here. Cool. So that is our environment. Next step is going to be identifying the main light. So pick up kind of that main light color. Now this one, pick in the middle of the circle here with my selection tool. This one is coming from the top. But also a little bit more from the back side of it. So it's going to be a little bit more diffused on this front side here. So we're not going to see the main light as much, but it's still there, right? So there's my main light. Sceneries are always a pain. I like actually landscape and environmental art. I feel like I'm definitely in a minority on there, but I actually really enjoy it. Oh my gosh, last week I had a few levels I couldn't see anything because of a glitch texture. Hey, Cockfire. All right, and then, so yeah, there's the main light. So I'm gonna make a new layer again. And I'm gonna add shadows next. So first, my ball is floating in space. So I actually don't have a cast shadow on the environmental floor. But we do have some form shadows. Let's start with those. Okay, so some form shadows. And then after our shadow, we can do our reflected light. Ambient and reflected. ambient light. I'm gonna pick up this environment light from, oh no, I'm on the right layer. I thought it was the wrong layer. Ball of magic, yes. So there we are, just a little bit of ambient lighting. So it's just bouncing off these walls onto the ball a little bit. And then details, I think. Right, so we got main light, shadow, ambient. Shadow, ambient. Yeah, and then details. You can also actually, I'm gonna add a little bit of the main light into the environment here too, not just the ball. Y'all selected everything. Oh, I never explained this. If you're using the wand tool, and you want to keep selecting things, like if you'll notice, like if I just click the one, if you click to this side and it doesn't add on to it, you can change over here your selection mode. So if you have it on this, it'll just pick up the next piece and it'll deselect the old spot that you had, right? If you click to the add button, it will add in the sections that you click. And I just kind of keep clicking until it's all been selected. I think I forgot to explain that, and that's a very good thing. I'm just gonna pick up this yellow again. Choose a soft brush. I'm just gonna add soft light. Here, and I'm going to add this darker shadow to the edge. There we go. There's another ball example. Can't you shift or something to add the add function? You can. But if you don't want to, like for me, I just like, then I have to just keep clicking. I don't have to shift click or anything. But yeah, you can also shift click. I don't know if the wand tool will automatically do it, but I just am always wanting to add click when I use that tool, so I just have it permanently on. Didn't know there was a wand until I referred to other layers until I rewatched the VOD. Yes. Yeah, if you want it to refer to other layers and not just the layer that you are on, you can change it here. If you want it to only reflect the layer that you are on, then you should select the top one, so. Yeah, and that's all like learning your program. You guys will get these examples. There we go. 2 different examples with the same lighting source, right? Or like same lighting scenario, I should say, right? There we go. So that was our warm-up for today. Call this example 2. Call it warm-up. I guess we could technically add even more details. Like on the other artworks that I did, I kind of went a little more, took more time and stuff like that, and I added in like the pretty little environmental details that they added in the picture, just because I thought they were pretty. So, like the bubbles and the little stars and stuff. So, you could do the same thing here too. I just didn't for today. Alrighty. So, yeah, if there's anybody that has pieces from last week's course that wants a critique, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, we'll just jump right into the lesson. I thought we weren't focusing on the details. Exactly. That's why I'm not doing it now. And I just did it as like my fun practice on my my examples. Because it's still learning, but that's not really like what this course is about, so. Got a few? All right, Blaze. Classic. Blaze is here to provide. Ah, 3D, wah. I also have glasses. Welcome in, Platypus. How you doing? Come on. And get more of that like blending in and stuff like that, and just kind of like make it so that it's a little more uniform, because right now it's looking maybe a little bit patchy in some areas. It's kind of hard to show, but also the sky is a little bit patchy too, so Just kind of blending those colors a little bit more together and just taking a bit more time too, right? And same thing for the colors down here. Now, it can kind of be two different things. So like the ball here, there's like, sometimes you do really want those harsh shadows, right? And that big contrast between the two lightings. So if that's something you were going for here, then keep that going, you know, like no critiques there. If you were trying to make it a little bit more kind of like my examples, they are a little bit softer in your reflected light. So like, it's hard to say, like sometimes it depends if you were trying to do that as a choice or not, or like a stylistic choice. But ambient, I would say like your ambient lights here could have been a little bit on the strong side. But sometimes you do have examples of like say in an art, like the art examples I had, you know, some of those ambient lights might have been more strong in contrast and stuff like that. So it's hard to tell if you were going for something like that or not. I'm gonna guess maybe not. Was trying to do it more like your examples. Okay. So then I would say for sure, for the ambient light, I would definitely be using more of a larger airbrush. And then also for your airbrush, this is kind of like a technique. You don't have to use the middle of your pen where you want the color. So like, and you can also really like make the edge of your brush very wide. And if you use the outer side of that edge, right? Like if you're looking at my brush on my screen, right? Like it makes kind of like a ring on my screen, right? And if this is like the middle where your pen touches, and then on the outer side, right? It's going to be softer on that outer side. And when you select this, if you're drawing outside here, it's not going to count, which means you can use the softer edge out here. So like if I drew this in solid, right? Kind of get rid of that reflected light here. Hold on. If I knock it back completely, right? And then re-add in that ambient light. So if I choose my soft brush and I have it very light on the hardness level, and then I make the brush pretty big, and notice how I'm drawing outside, but it's adding that outer color. Oh, you can also, if this toolbar ever gets in your way, you can move it out of the way with the line. So just bump it over there. But yeah, like you can kind of watch how I'm drawing, and I'm using very light pressure as well too, right? And see how kind of faintly that adds it in there? Because it looks like you're almost drawing more with the center of your brush, kind of like this. And then see how it's not coming right to the edge there too? It just looks, yeah, like you're kind of drawing with the middle of your brush. So don't be afraid to draw outside of the ring, and then just let that edge kind of just touch in. So I think that would help with your ambient light. And yeah, like you can make the brush bigger to make it kind of be softer and more diffused. And then when you want it smaller, it's gonna get more concentrated, right? See how like that got really bright versus when it's big, it's much more soft and diffused, right? So yeah, I would say try that. Same thing here. I can see a little bit of this kind of blue popping in, right? I would say just color that back, right? But, and then same thing here. If your light is coming directly, exactly from the side here, you're not gonna have this lighter blue, right? It's just gonna be solid right on that side. Does that make sense? But otherwise, you're looking really, really good. Like, I think these are amazing. There's not much to teach you in terms of like the concepts. You are nailing the concepts. It's just learning technique and learning how to use your brushes and stuff to achieve the effects that you want to achieve. So hopefully that helps teaching how to use maybe the airbrush a little bit better for you. Because I think that's the only thing I would say for these ones. Lighten up that ambient light just a little bit. It is a little bit harsh right now for the examples. But otherwise, you're doing solid. So if you want me to write this down on these ones, I would say work. I'll call it brush control. And softer brush. And we'll also call it, so softer brush and using the edge of the brush, I think. But yeah, again, this is all, it's just gonna come with practice and use that you just kind of slowly pick that up. But yeah, that's something you can kind of keep in mind is you don't have to draw with the middle of your brush. You can use the edges. And I think that's most important for an airbrush. And then second one is ambient light. Oh my goodness. Wait, who's it from? Safim! Safim, thank you. Thank you for the art gifty. And also Ramu, welcome in, and Foxy, hello, hello. But yes, ambient light could be softer. I'll call it softer, but it would be less value, I guess, right? You want it to be not as intense, like that intensity, that bright light. You want it to be a little bit lower in value, or like a closer value to the value of your overall object, right? Does that make sense? Perfect. Okay, then I am going to post this for you. And then, yeah, I can just take a quick look at today's as well that you did. Ta-da! So these are from today. Yeah, those ones you did last week, like I said, very good. So for these guys, I would say you might be, again, focusing, I think, too closely on the overall details in the picture, and you're forgetting the orb a little bit more and kind of capturing the general shape. I feel like you're losing the form shadows a lot in all three of these. So let me make a layer over top. I think that's the biggest thing with these ones. Where you did, because that's why you're saying you liked, I think, the other ones more than you did with these ones. I think it's because your cast shadow and form shadows are a little bit lost. Maybe not so much the cast shadow, but your form shadow feels to be a little bit more lost in these ones. because you do have those ambient lights in there. And again, same thing with the ambient lights is you want them to be a little bit more diffused and soft. This I can kind of see where you're drawing around, right? Like it's not very even. So you want to make sure that you're using very light touches, and you can kind of like, when I make like my ambient light, here, I'll go in order here first. So we're gonna do the shadows first. So I'm just gonna go back and bring these back to kind of the main color that you have, right? For these two. I think your color choices and stuff were all fine. I'm just going to kind of show roughly how I would do this like very, very quickly, essentially. So I'm gonna grab my soft brush again. And first we're gonna add in, we'll start still with the main light. So you did have that good, like picking up lighting, and we are gonna have a soft brush. And see how, pay attention to like how big my brush is in comparison to the sphere, right? Like I kind of make the airbrush. I know I want this area. I want the circle to be like that, right? So what I end up doing is I make my airbrush as kind of big as that curve, right? That I want to fill in. And then I just touch the middle of my pen where I want it to be strongest, which is right on the edge of that, right? And I kind of just keep clicking right there one at a time. Like I'm not even drawing anything. I'm just going dot, dot, click, 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 and I'm just increasing the intensity, right? And I kind of just draw back and forth in that area. You kind of see how that was done? So there's the main light for that one. The main light for this one is a very, very soft yellow, I would say. So you have more of the white light coming in, but your main light here, remember, is this yellow kind of golden ray on the mountains and stuff, right? So this one, again, same thing. I haven't changed the size of my airbrush because all these balls are the same size, right? And again, I'm just going to draw that kind of sunlight on top, right? Just like that. Welcome in Moxie and Foxy. Moxie, Foxy, Foxy. And then the same thing for this one again. Your main light is gonna be this kind of orangey color. I know you have it kind of like this white in the background, but you're picking up from this sun, right? And you're going from this side again. Just like that. So those are our three main lights, right? Then we're gonna add in the shadow. So again, I'm gonna still keep the same airbrush, and I'm just gonna pick up some darker color. So this like dark chocolate brown kind of color. And now I'm just sweeping because I know I want it to be this back corner, right? So I just keep the pen wide, but a little bit smaller this time. And I just draw with the very, very far edge of that airbrush. And that's gonna make it really, really soft and diffused, right? And then same thing with this one. We're just gonna pick up kind of this dark green in the forest. And for this one, we're gonna make it small. And we're just gonna color it right onto the bottom there. Right, so I'm just drawing outside, but just around the bottom of that ring. And then same thing for this one. We'll pick up this dark purple in the trees here. And I'm gonna make it a little bigger. And we're just gonna draw. Again, this is in my way, so I'm just gonna move it. And to me, it's not getting quite dark enough to me. So I might even just bring it down just a little bit more, just to get a higher contrast going. So I just pulled the value down just a tiny bit. There you go, something like that. And if I find like I came out too far or anything like that, I'll just switch to C and get the transparency, and then just kind of very, like I'm just kind of dot and touching, like barely touching the canvas here. Oh, I'm like erasing the background because I have your color. But yes, just like that. So there's your main and your shadows done now, right? And that is like a huge tell of information just in itself. Just doing those two shadows will give you a lot, right? So I think definitely focus on those. And then you're gonna have a huge improvement, right? Do you kind of see the difference when I turn it on and off like this, right? Yeah, it's just a little bit more smooth. And it's not that you're understanding here where it needs to go, right? You are understanding, where is my, oh, I'm not on the color. There we go. You are understanding where you need to properly apply these circles, right? Like you're understanding the form, I would say. It's just about learning that control. So like you're understanding the concepts really well, which is a big part of the battle, right? But it's just about learning pen control. Yeah, and then if you really wanted, you can add that kind of ambient light to some of these. You know, I just pick up something kind of around and just add just a little hint of it. Sure, maybe I'll pick up from here or something because you got more of this blue coming, or magenta coming from this side. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good. The only ones I would say for the backgrounds would be for these two. Remember to pay attention to trying to select this. Paying attention. So like this sky, you do have that like bright blue color in here. And I think you might be trying to add in the clouds a little bit, is what my guess is. Also, welcome in, dude. Thank you for the follow. And I think, don't forget the main, like if you look at where the light is coming in from here, it's mostly this like kind of golden sunset, right? That you kind of want to add in here. So I'm actually just gonna erase the clouds for now, just so you can kind of see it a little bit better. And then adding in, again, just like a little more diffuse to kind of show that color gradient. And then that kind of strong bright lighting, right? Just came by to drop and send a follow your way. You can call me Bucket for short, so you don't have to say my full name. Keep up the amazing work and just keep being amazing. Thank you, Bucket. I appreciate it. Also, I gave you a little down, because I think I forgot to when I was explaining. Yeah, so, and the same thing with this one. Again, you picked up the white. I don't know if you're trying to emulate the clouds and stuff, but I would just say same thing for this one, where you're gonna have less of the white showing through, right? So just kind of fill that in again, get rid of those. And we're just gonna start kind of adding more of these pinks, right? and work our way to more this white, intense spot in the middle of where it is closest, right? Because, like, we don't need to focus on those clouds right now, right? We're mostly just focusing on that, the lighting, right? And where it's coming from. So don't worry about the clouds. Just do the generalization of the lighting right now. But yeah, otherwise, pretty good. Your cast shadows, I would say they might be a little bit, again, too harsh. So that's, again, just airbrush control. Same thing. We're just kind of... You just want to diffuse those out just a little bit. And that just comes with your airbrush control that we talked about. And again, I'm just using like very, very light dotting motion. Yeah, there you go. So I will take a picture of this one for you too, as a reference. But you did really good on these blaze. Like I said, I have no major, I guess maybe this one, this example, but even you could recognize that you did something off or different in this one compared to your last one. And I would say it's just because you didn't have those form shadows as solid as you did in the first one. So remember just to look at it as a ball from very far away kind of thing, and don't focus on those details so much, right? Oh, sorry, that's the environment ones. But yeah, just kind of look at it from afar, pick up the color from your light source, and remember to look at what color your light source is, right? Like this one you were adding in white. See how you added in the white from the clouds? Remember, it had this bright yellow sun. That is your light source, right? So, yeah. It was just bad lighting, making it seem like clouds. Okay, then, yeah, I thought maybe you're trying to get the clouds because the clouds are white in this, right? Or more closer to white. So just don't forget, don't pick up like the highest point. I would say that would be a kind of thing that might help. Is don't pick up that brightest. Kind of look at it more generally, because adding pure white is not gonna kind of achieve as much as like grabbing some of this diffused color. Yeah, so definitely pick up more of that diffused color, and then you want to use that bright white. That would be considered your highlight. And if you remember when we talked about the highlight, that would be like if this was a reflective surface, that color right in the middle would go here as like a highlight or a reflective light, right? Because that is going to be your brightest point, which is saved for the highlight. Rather, your direct light is going to be like kind of more those soft colors that you see coming out of the light. But yeah. Hopefully that helps you. And hopefully that helps anybody else too. It's nice that I can also help you with kind of like brush control stuff too, because there might be other beginners that, you know, also need help with that kind of stuff too, so. Thank you, Blaze, for the critique section. And then, yeah, so we're gonna jump into our main lesson now, which is with Isham's study. I'm gonna be doing the homework now. I've kind of watched the class, and the class is just watching Isham go through and put lighting onto these figures. And they do an amazing job of it. It's beautiful, look at it. Absolutely stunning. Mine are not gonna look this nice. They're beautiful. But we're gonna do our best, because that's why we're studying. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep it off to the side here. And I have course material if you want to follow along with me. You can find it in the Discord, as usual, in the pinned section. But I'm gonna be doing my homework here. I think I'm gonna add this canvas into my... All I'm gonna do is just move their homework into my canvas so that when I do my, what's it called? When I do my time lapse, I can actually see myself working on it, right? Oh, I should have explained this too. You can split your canvas like this too for working. All you have to do is click and drag where you want the layer to appear. So I wanted it side by side, so I just click on the tab and I click and drag and pull it to the other side, and you'll see like a red line appear, and then you just let go and it'll split it for you. Close that now because I'm gonna work here. Some homework. All right. And I'm actually just gonna quickly take a washroom break, and that'll give you guys a little bit of time to get your canvas set up to work. I drank a huge thing of sparkling water. So when it's split like that, can you hide one side? Which do you mean by that, sorry? Blaze? When it's split like that, can you hide one side? You can click and drag the middle to place it where you want. Collapse it so it's hidden. No. To get it like put back, you would just have to take it out and then put it back by going to the right or left side of your tab that's here. And then it would combine them back. But there's not like a collapse. I think. Hopefully that's what you mean. Hello, Star Fox. All right, quickly, I'm gonna run to the washroom. I drank too much soda. I was dehydrated. It was hot today. And then yeah, that'll at least get you guys some time to get your canvases set up to follow along. Am I being abused? Am I being abused? What is with the rage? Table flip, wolves. Maybe. Make mine a little smaller here. So they kept every single layer in the homework. I'm actually just gonna go through and, just for my canvas's sake, I'm just gonna merge these down individually. What up? Bugs! 30 months, Bugs! Thank you for the subby and welcome to the Demon Army for 30 months. What a vibe, hashtag burb, hashtag ad, hashtag Articuno was here. I'm jealous of your Articuno in Pokemon Go. Alrighty, so, here we go. So today we're gonna basically just be taking what we learned with, you know, practicing the shading on the spheres. We're now gonna be applying it onto these little anime characters. Oh, they just did. I just realized they like got rid of the, oh, on this example, they got rid of the shading on these ones, I just realized. But in the video, I think she just works off of this example. So I'm just gonna do the same. Yeah, she definitely, I'm pretty sure she did. Am I crazy? Because I remember her erasing. I'm pretty sure she did. She basically went through and added like form shadows to this head compared to the others. So that's why you can see like a difference and the color is like a bit different. And I'm just gonna use the same. Like you can see how they still have the highlight in the hair and it's exactly the same as this one. So the homework that they gave is just different. So I'm just gonna delete it. And we'll just make our own page. Here we go. Okay, so now I have my head example. All right, so I'm just gonna copy and paste. So what we're doing, we're leaving the first head that she has here as just our control, right? If we're doing an experiment, we want one that is just left as default so that we can compare it, right? So we're just gonna leave this first head and I'm just going to copy it, paste it, and I'm just gonna move it over to the side here. Yeah, we're just using the first head. So you can delete the other ones if you need and then just copy and paste it. I merged my layers. They kept like the folder as like separated and stuff, but I just merged mine down so that I just have a single head. Class is in session. Hello, Bobby Jr. Welcome on in. I wish I could give you my Articuno. I love Articuno. Oh, it's from when you were in Japan. That's extra cool. All right. So copy and paste that over, and then when we are doing adding lighting, what artists will often do, so kind of look over at my layers here. I merged it down, but usually this would be a folder with like all your layers of your character's art underneath, right? So you'd have your line arts, your base colors and everything in a folder all together, right? Then what we normally will do for lighting is we'll make a new layer on top I'm behind the new layer button, but you guys kind of know where it is, right? So make a new layer on top, right? And then we're gonna use the clipping button, which is right here, right behind me. It's those two squares that overlap each other. And we're just going to clip down onto the layer below it, which means that we're only gonna be able to draw on top of the character, right? That's often the easiest way. So remember on the circle examples, we were kind of like using the wand tool to select. This just makes it so you don't have to like select everything. And it just automatically will only draw where that bottom layer is, or bottom folder. So you can clip onto a folder as well. Then, yeah, so that's kind of like how you will build light on top of your character as an artist. And then that way you can still erase your lighting without affecting the artwork underneath, right? That's kind of the benefit of having the different layers, is you can kind of work in sections and be able to erase and add on more easily that way, right? All right, and then I'm also just going to draw a circle to go with this head. So I'm just going to put the head and that first layer, clipping layer that we made, into another folder, and I'm going to call this example 1. So it's just in its own example here. Oh, one thing, when you have layers in a folder, we're gonna be using things like soft light and multiply layer properties, which is this button here. When you click that normal button, it'll open up a whole bunch of them. We're gonna be using these layers in doing our lighting. When it's in a folder, they won't show properly in Clip Studio Paint unless you put the folder layer as through. So just make sure now, instead of saying normal, see how these ones say normal, normal, this one says through. It'll be above normal, so you might have to scroll up in this drop-down window that will appear. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, switch it to normal, and then we can go back to our head layer. And I'm also just gonna make a regular layer that's gonna be our circle or sphere. We'll call it a sphere. You can draw this or not draw this. I think it's still helpful to visualize it. But I'm going to choose my ellipse tool, my circle, click, drag, and make it even. And I'm just going to paint it a gray, a bit lighter. And we are going to be drawing this example first. Actually, in this layer, do they... Sorry, I'm just trying to see something because... Not really. They kind of start by drawing the cast shadows and then go back over and add like extra lighting. So I would like to start the same way that they did as my practice. Okay, so for this sphere, our first one, we are gonna draw lighting as coming directly from the one side on the left, right? So we draw our little sphere as an example. Also, thank you for the hydration, Wolves. All right, so I'm back on that clipping layer over here. I'm gonna move this back just a little bit again so we see more art space. Okay, so we're gonna pick up kind of the main kind of, I guess, hair color, whatever, and I'm going to add in the cast shadow and form shadow first for this one. So I'm going to actually change the layer, this clipping layer, to multiply. Okay, so multiply will kind of keep the same colors underneath. So this is a very common way the artist will add shadowing, especially in anime. If I did this as a normal layer, right? If I draw over top, see how it's like, it's just the same color as the hair that I'm just adding over top, right? But if I change this layer mode to multiply, watch what happens. See how it kind of takes in account your values and colors that you have already added into that art piece, right? And it's just making it look more like a shadow over top, right? So that's a very, very important thing, is adding a multiply layer, right? Instead of a normal layer. So we're gonna switch it to multiply, and then we're going to treat, remember her face, as kind of the sphere. Like we'll treat this whole area, and we're just gonna very broadly, I have a very big airbrush, right? And I'm just drawing outside of the character, and I'm kind of following this back side of the head, right? Maybe I'll go a little bit darker down here, but I'm just adding that spherical shape, right? To her face. And then we're gonna have areas, right? We wanna add in, so that's just the main cast or main form shadow that we just did, right? We just have a general wide diffused light that we added. And it's just gonna make it basically look like more lighting is just coming from this side of the screen, right? Same thing we did with the sphere. We're just treating this whole piece as one piece right now. But we want to go in now and add more of those cast shadows and form shadows that we did when we were learning in the first lesson, right? So for the face here, right, we're gonna have more of this shadow. Oh, I'm drawing with clear, that's why. Right? So we use more of kind of a harsh color to start for that head, right? And then I'm gonna go back to the soft brush and the same thing. We're going to switch to more of like transparency. Start to actually, we're gonna do this in a different way because I'm drawing it on the same layer. You can make a separate layer above, clip it down, and then that way I can go back and erase it if I needed to, right? Might be better. And that way I can use the eraser just to clean up. And I'm going to pull back the brightness of it. And remember, as it gets further out and away from the neck, those cast shadows are gonna get softer, right? Right, so there's more of the cast shadow. And then we can also make it a little bit darker here. More of a line up here, just because it's closer to her chin here, so the line is going to be more crisp, right? So I'm using a smaller airbrush. And then we're going to want to add in some, I'm going to use my hard brush, and we're just going to add in a little bit of shadows into the hair. And remember, I'm like thinking of where these shadows are going to be darkest. I'm thinking of the cast shadows and the form shadows of the hair. And I'm thinking about where this light is coming from, right? So the light is coming from this side of the hairpiece. So the other side of the hairpiece is going to be in shadow, right? Same thing for this one, right? So now it looks like this hairpiece is kind of above the other one, right? Just kind of adding in a little bit more detail and form into her head. And these are much more of those form shadows we were talking about in the first lesson, right? Form shadows are more those like more details. Select my lasso tool and just kind of grab the part here is going to be darker where the hair meets, right? In the middle of her head. And I'm just going to add softer edge to there as it diffuses. So there, here you can kind of see, right? Just gives a little bit extra depth and more three-dimensionality by adding just those little bits of cast shadow and form into the piece, right? I'm actually also gonna strengthen the shadow here a little bit too. And there we go. So there is the lighting just coming from the left, right? So we're gonna keep that now, right? So that's just very broadly the lighting coming in from the left. So now we're gonna copy and paste the original head again, and we're going to do it from above. Yeah, so you really want the soft brush when the shadows are far away, right? You're getting more of that diffusion of light, which makes that kind of very soft airbrushy look, right? And then the hard brush is more when shadows are really, really close together, right? Like in the hair, those hair pieces are really close to each other, right? So they're gonna make more of a harsh shadow line than something where the hair is farther away from the light and it gets more diffused here, right? Like here I could have even done in this one, I think a little bit of, and it's kind of like one of those things where like you can keep working on something forever, right? So this line here I could have softened up maybe a little bit here. But yeah, it's like you want to start broad and not get too picky again. Do very, very broad, draw it quickly. I'm working on trying to be not as picky about certain things and try to look at things more broadly overall and draw them quicker. So also hydrate, posture, stand, and stretch. Thank you, 7. I need a good stretch. Stretch those wrists as well. Another thing, yes. So this character, the reason why we didn't really add a direct light in this one as well is because this example that Isham did is as if the character is fully illuminated, which means fully lit up, right? So we already had our direct light on there, and then we're just adding in the cast shadows because now the lighting has changed. Your sphere looks like a moon, it does. Absolutely does. All right, so I'm just gonna set up the next one now. So example 2. Just gonna make another folder, pop this inside, and I'm gonna change that folder layer to through again. So it'll show the colors of the multiply layer. We're talking about changing the layer from normal. You said make the folder with all the layers through and a new layer on top adds multiply. So how my layers are set up, you can look at them here because I'm gonna do it again, right? I have my main head folder inside a folder marked as through, right? And then I'm going to add another layer on top of the main layer, right? Because I want these shadows to be clipped down onto the piece that has all of the form, right? Because I want it to attach it to itself, right? Yeah. So we're gonna take that layer that's blank right now and clip it down because that's gonna be our shadows. And then I will change that to multiply. Does that make sense? So these multiplier layer and the example base is just all inside of a layer or a folder that's marked through right now. And that's just for my layer organization, right? You can kind of do it however you like. As long as the most important part is just you have a layer over top of your main artwork that is marked as a clipping layer, because that means you're only gonna draw what is what is underneath there. I just wanted to keep it organized in a folder, so this just has to be marked as through in order to see the multiply layer as multiply. So like if I showed this, the first example, right? If I have this folder, right, all my layers are underneath here. If I have this folder changed to normal, okay, this one is fine, but some layer modes it does mess with. So right now it's fine for multiply, but it's just a good habit to mark it as through. Or if you're using a layer mode and it doesn't look the way it should, make sure that your folder is set to through. Yeah. Yeah, same idea. All right, so now I'm also just gonna grab my moon. My moon! I'm gonna drag it over here. And we're gonna basically do now lighting from the top. On this one. So, same idea. I'm just gonna pick up the hair color just to use a color. And I'm going to choose a very wide airbrush. And first thing, I'm just going to add that lighting in very generally, right? So I'm mostly just focusing on the top of her head here. Okay, and then there's going to be areas, right, where the light, because our face has different features and stuff, right? Like if we had, you know, we have like the nose that like pops out here, right? And we have kind of this little section at the top of her nose, right? That the light is gonna come down and hit, right? So there'll be like a little chunk here that gets pulled out, or like the top of the ear, right? There are like little parts of the body that are gonna have light touching if it's coming down from the top, or even like her chest here, right? And then this neck is gonna cause a cast shadow through here, right? Because of her head. If we're imagining that light coming straight down. Does that make sense? Hopefully following along. So I'm just going to now take that multiply layer and I'm going to erase little bits where that light is kind of popping through. And I'm just using a hard brush for this right now. And then I'll go in and diffuse it where it needs to be later. And then she also has like little bits of the hair that are just kind of like poking through the light a little bit. It's kind of like a little extra detail, but my layer is going all wrong. What's happening, Blaze? You should just have, you could kind of like see my outline of my layers right here. I'll try to pull it out a little more so you can see, right? I wish I could make it bigger, but I can't really do that. Oops. The text doesn't really get bigger. I'll label them properly. So they bump in when they're in the folder, right? So I have just my sphere as a layer. This is technically a blank layer. I was using it to explain things to you. Then I have my shadow, which is clipped down to the main head. So because it's clipped to this head, when I erase this, it's gonna make the whole thing disappear. It's gonna like remove this as well because this is attached to it. My clipping layer won't draw. Do you have an empty layer underneath? Or are you drawing it on top of the faced example? And I'm just gonna use a softer brush. Oops. I just made my softness on my brush affect a little bit more. Just gonna soften up the areas around nose. And I might even just harshen up this line a little bit, because she goes for a very harsh top-down light. In her example. And then she also just erases the highlight, because now you're having this big bright light coming down from above. So she just removes these highlights here. Because now your main highlight is going to be that top of the head. But yeah, in her example, she kind of comes back and adds the light afterwards. And she just focuses on adding the shadows first. So that's what I'm just going to do as well. We're just focusing on one thing at a time. We're adding all the shadows here first, the examples. Make a new layer, make it a clip, then make new layer under the clip. Yes, no, that's not right. You just want a clipping layer above the head. So again, when you have a layer that's empty underneath the clipping layer, it's going to draw to nothing because there is nothing on that canvas. What a clipping layer does is it clips where you're drawing to what is underneath it, right? So you want the head that's drawn underneath where you're drawing, so that way it will only draw where that head is. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah, so you just want your main layer. This is with all the information that Isham drew, right? This is Isham's head and work and drawing. And then I am just clipping what I'm drawing, which is the shadow, down onto her work. So this is just getting clipped onto the hard work, essentially. I know in the thumbnail, there's a way to tell, like you can change your thumbnail to show what is on that layer zoomed in. I have it set so that it shows the whole canvas in the thumbnail, because that's just how I like it. You can change it so that it zooms in on what you're drawing as well, which might make it more clear, but I don't know how to do that. You might have to Google for something like that, but if that sounds like something that might help you keep track of what your layers look like, if I want to see it, if I'm like, oh, I forget what is on this layer, if I want to be able to see it on my canvas, I'll just hit Control and then click on the thumbnail, and it'll like lasso everything that is on this layer. And if I'm like, because I'll do that where I'm like, wait, what is this layer that I have? Like, I don't remember. I made this layer and it's called layer 105. What is this layer? And if I control and I click on the thumbnail, if there's nothing on it, it gives me a warning saying selection was not created. You can click a do not show this again, but I use this as my way to tell if I have something on that layer or not, or if it's blank. So I leave it because it's a great warning. So I just say, okay. And then I'm like, oh, there's nothing on that. I can delete that layer. But it's like, oh, I want to know what this layer is. Oh, it's my sphere because my sphere is selected here. So control clicking will show you everything. So this is like my multiply layer. So again, if I control click on the multiply, look how where I'm drawing, right? I'm drawing outside of this area, right? See how it fills everywhere there when I control click? But with the clipping layer, when I turn it on and off, it clips down, right? So there you go. Hopefully that helps a little bit more in finding what your layers are if you forget. Okay, so now I'm gonna make another head example. So I'm just gonna close that folder again. I'm gonna select my base head, copy, paste, makes a new one. I'm just gonna move it to the top work area, and I'm gonna hit Control T and move. Here, we'll move it down here. Just stick with the 6. Okay, and then I'm just gonna go grab that sphere again. Grabbing the sphere from the other example, copying it, and pasting it above, and then Control T to move it down. Okay, and then we're doing underlighting now. So now our light is coming from below. Got my head example, my sphere. And again, I'm selected on the head layer. I make a new layer above that, right? And then I clip it down. So this is now drawing on here. It seems to be working. Okay, no worries. Again, it's learning all the tools and what all the tools do. It's a big part of when you're first learning how to art, so don't feel bad asking questions. Okay, and then I'm also gonna make this a multiply layer again, selecting my hair color, creating a big airbrush, and again, I'm gonna try to treat this as a sphere. So, this one is, you can kind of like cover the whole thing too and work in reverse if that makes it easier for you too. So if you think about where the light is shining again, you can draw a large area and then work backwards. So now I know the bottom of her chin is going to be illuminated by the light, and kind of like her chest area, right, will also be illuminated in some light here. So if I press C, I'm going to now erase kind of that area that's standing out, right? Think of her face as kind of this sphere. Then the whole kind of like bottom of her face will be illuminated. And the kind of on the face, right? The nose, the underside of the nose will get picked up a little bit. has this kind of triangle right underneath the nose, right? And then your kind of eyes are more sunken in, but your forehead protrudes back out a little bit again, right? Where this kind of hair is. And the hair is also going to catch more light on the underside. I'm just kind of lighting up around the face just a little bit, because it's nicer just to have the face in more light as well. Oh, I forgot to add, on the last piece, I forgot to add the hair shaping, so we can go back and do that too. I got distracted by questions. Find this light on the bottom of the hair. So yeah, like I said, some people prefer to work in the opposite when it comes to the shadows. And they like to cover the whole thing in shadow first and then add the light after. And it's just like a personal preference and how you like to end up doing your workflow. Shine a little flashlight up to tell spooky stories. That's exactly what it is, Rudo. Exactly what it is. Those spooky stories. Alright, so that is that one. I'm just gonna go back here to the other head that we had. Oops, I also forgot to put this in a folder. So I'm just doing that now. Example 3. I'm just gonna go back to example 2 here because I just forgot to add in those extra form shadows. So again, I'm just picking up the hair color. I'm just gonna add in these shadows again. hydrate. I have not saved yet. Thank you. Thank you for that. I'm actually out of water, so I'll do a bit of a stretchy instead. I need to go get more water. I drank all of it. Get those back stretches in. There we go. Again, just adds a little bit more three-dimensionality into the piece. And I'm actually also gonna take the highlight that is on this head, and I'm also just gonna give it a bit of a soften. Not gonna erase it completely, but I'm just gonna make it a little bit lighter. Cool. So oops, I am drawing on the wrong layer. What am I doing? Classic wrong layer. There we go. I'm happy with that. LiLi has a drinking problem. I do when it comes to sparkling water. It's true. All right, so that is that one. Now we have our backlit example is next. So I'm gonna copy our main head again, make a new layer of it, and we're gonna drag it down here. Grab the sphere copy again and drag it over here. And then for this one, we do need to change it to show backlight. Just gonna fill it all in. Solid like this, and then show the lighting. That's coming from behind, right? And I'm also going to put this in a folder. Make a new layer on top of my head example and clip it down. And I'm gonna make it multiply layer. Are you a real digital artist if you haven't drawn on the wrong layer at least once a session? It's too real. It's too real, Ishikun. You speak the truth. All right, so we're gonna add our cast shadow. So backlighting is another good example of kind of cutting away the light because a majority of the face is going to be in darkness. So again, for this one, I'm just going to fill the entire layer by going to edit and then down to fill. And that's just gonna fill this whole layer with my shadow color. And then we are going to take our brush here and start cutting away that light. It might be a little bit dark here, so I'm just gonna take the layer opacity, which is right here, And then I'm just gonna bring it down to like 80, 85. Just because it's a little bright. Or a little dark, sorry. Kind of losing a lot of her features, right? And then we're just gonna kind of go around the edge. Some of those pieces that are behind. And pull them out. And then because the light is shining from behind, it's going to shine through her back hair here, because hair is like somewhat transparent, right? It's not fully opaque. So kind of in these thinner areas, it's going to shine through a little bit. So I'm just gonna select that back of the hair. And just add some more lighting in there. And we're gonna do the same thing. Right here. Color back in some of these spots where I came out a little bit. And then again, the light is shining from behind here a little bit, so the light is gonna also come out, and her face is gonna be kind of creating a cast shadow as well, right? You can also kind of add in a little bit of extra light strands here and there for some detail into the hair. There we go. So that is our shadow from backlighting. So absorbed by my endless grind, I didn't realize how late it was. Oh no, no time, only time. Ooh, delicious. We don't talk about time here. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, so there is our backlighting. And then Isham finishes off here with one more, just kind of like a fun lighting, which is kind of imagining these blinds. Like this person is standing at a window and there are some blinds. Copy another head, move that down here. Put it in a folder of its own. This should be example 4. My clipping layer, folder set to through, and starting my multiply layer. Again, for this one, I'm gonna work backwards because I think that's gonna be easier for picking where I want the light rather than choosing where the shadow should go. I think it's gonna be easier for this example to have the light poke through. So I'm basically going to fill this whole layer again. Helps to have a color. File, edit, fill. There you go. And then I'm going to choose my airbrush. And I'm just going to pick. Just gonna carve away what looks like blinds. Across the person's face. There's no real rhyme or reason as to where these shadows go. I'm just trying to keep them parallel with each other and roughly the same thicknesses. In a consistent shape. Okay. So yeah, so now you can kind of like, doesn't it look like she's got like some light coming through a blind at night kind of look to it. I might switch this one, pull this one down as well to like 90. I might bring this one back up to 90 as well on the other layer. There we, oh, I forgot to do the circle for this one. Wait. I forgot the circle. So we want the light coming in from the side. And then of course we have these blinds. Oops. Blinds coming through. Quick, circle it. We circle back. So there we go. So this is the rough lighting for all 6 examples, right? For the different positions. And these are like kind of the main 4 different types of lighting you will use in your pieces. So either you're gonna have like coming from one side, whether it be left, right, 3/4, top, down, right? Or you're gonna be using backlighting. So like, I should be circling while I talk about this, right? So these are more like your top, left, right. So you're just moving the direction of where that lighting is coming from left to right, 3/4. And then kind of the backlit is the only kind of like a little bit more different. You're still moving where the lighting is coming from. But yeah, that's when you get that halo effect that we talked about. Or you'll have like obscured lighting. So this is like maybe your character's under, you know, some trees and you get that kind of like scattered dotting lighting, or in front of a blind, something that's creating a cast shadow or obscuring your character, right? So yeah, those are kind of some pretty common lighting examples. So then Now, what Isham kind of does in this next section is kind of what we talked about. So this first, what we just did here by just adding the cast shadows, that's everything we learned in the first lesson, right? If you remember the first theory, we were just talking about, you know, getting general shaping and form done with adding shadows onto the piece. Then the second lesson talked more about color temperatures and like how it can affect kind of like what time of day you perceive it as, or adding different effects like the haloing or rim lighting, kind of glow that you get. All those little extra details is kind of the second part of the lesson or theory class that we did, right? So we ran through the first half, got our basic shaping and shadow in. So now we can go through and look at kind of refining and maybe adding in more of that environmental and ambient light. So for this first example, she did it as kind of like a moonlit night or like an evening lighting. So we will do that. So for this one, so we leave our multiply layer as is, we leave that down below, and we're gonna make another layer on top, clipping layer on top. Right, so this is our multiply layer, and then I'm going to add another layer on top and clip it. So when it is clipped on top of a clipped layer, it's just gonna go through the clipped layer and still attach to whatever is underneath. So both of these are going to be attached to the first layer that's underneath it. If I were to, for example, to draw, you know, some red, oops, that's all my multiply layer. If I were to make a layer between here, it would, actually, sorry, before I say that. So if I have this and I draw my red, right? It's going to still attach to this bottom piece, right? That I have, and it's gonna still keep this multiply layer that we have. So it keeps both of them. However, if I make a layer between here and it becomes not clipped anymore, it's going to have this one is now clipped to this layer, right? So now if I were to draw something blue, you know, underneath, see how now the red appears? And it's because this red is now attached to this blue base layer that I made, right? So if I delete this and we go back, this clips down to the next one down below it. So if these are all clipped to this, we're gonna keep it all the same. All right, so I'm gonna delete this red. Make a new layer, flip it down. Okay, so first thing that I believe Isham kind of does is, I have never done it this way before, but Isham adds in a soft light layer and changes the color for the skin tone that way. So I've never actually done it this way. I've always selected where I want the color change to be, and I just always edit my multiplier layer with Control U. But I'm gonna try it their way to learn it a different way, because it's always nice picking up new skills. So what Isham does is they make a soft light layer. So again, change your layer blending mode from normal to soft light. And then they picked up more of an orange color, like a more skin tone color, right? Because this is very blue in here, and you're not really getting their skin tone color. So then they then just add in with a light brush and kind of add that skin tone orange back in. That is actually very cool. So now the soft light is only really drawing where we have those multiply layers, which is very, very nice and very cool. Add a little bit into her ear as well. Very cool. All right, and then what they do as well, I believe, did they do it with a soft light layer? Let me just see. So they wanted the lighting to look more like it's coming from nighttime. So when you look at a nighttime, the atmosphere, it becomes more cool and blue, like a dark blue, and that gives more of the feeling of nighttime. Yes, so they just have the soft light. They choose like a blue color, and we're just gonna add that in as our ambient light, right? So now like a little bit of shadows are a little bit more of this lighter blue. And that's pretty much it. Now it looks much more. So we pulled this away, right? See how it was very kind of like very grayscale. It didn't really give a lot of warmth or environment kind of feeling. It just kind of looks like she's like in a studio, right? And there's these dark shadows. But now if we add in that blue color, it feels much more like she's out in like the evening starlight under moonlight, like a full moon kind of thing, right? So it's just adding in that ambient light of the atmosphere, which is more of those cool shadow tones. So that is that one. And then for the next one, she does more of a spotlight. So imagine she is on a stage and you got a very harsh, bright spotlight coming down from above on the character. So for the next one, I'm going to make another new layer on top of that multiply layer. And I'm going to turn this one again to soft light. And I'm first going to adjust the skin tone colors again because they're very, very dark and harsh because we're using the color from the hair. So we're just going to add in a little bit more warmth with a bit of orange color. For this one, I think they use a little bit more of a lighter yellow. Because the stage light that they picked is more yellow. We're gonna add that harsh stage light. Helps to click my layer. There we go. That harsh stage lighting at the top, right? So we want it to be very, very solid color. And we want it to have this kind of harsh lighting, right? So we're going to make another layer on top, clip it down, and we're gonna change this one now to hard light. Instead of a soft light or ambient light, we're gonna use a hard light. See how much more harsh. It feels like we're really, really close to that, that lighting, right? Very, very bright and intense light. And then again, you can use the different brushes to add in more shadows. I want to bring back kind of this don't remember how they got this nice multiply layer in there. Maybe they added it on top. Just mess around with some stuff, see what they did. Oh wait, I wonder if they did this as overlay. Nope. Glow. I think they did add it as a glow. Whoop. Yes, so I think what they did here is, yes, they added a bit of a glow. So above the hard light layer, they added the kind of like the stage glow. So they added a glow here and kind of added that to the transition points between the really harsh lighting up here and the shadow. And that makes it feel like it gets a little bit of more of that. Oh, there's a word for it. What is it called? It's like a part of the skin where you kind of see the blood vessels come through. There's a name for it. I just don't remember what it is. So you're just adding those. See how it gives a little bit of an oranginess and shine right where the shadow meets. And it just makes it feel a little bit more like she's alive. And it's just basically the red of your blood cells coming through a little bit. And that's why I have like the orange reddy color popping through. But I still don't know how they added, maybe it's just in the, did I forget to add it? No. Maybe I just have it too harsh. And again, this is kind of the part of art. I'm like, oh, I like what she's done here, but I can't figure out 100% what it is. And I don't remember from the video, so I'm just kind of experimenting around where the colors are coming from and trying to figure out how to achieve it myself. Did she change the color of this? I think it's completely hidden. Like for hers looks very hers looks very warm colored, like almost an orange. Subsurface lighting. Thank you. That's what it's called, artifacts. I appreciate it. Yeah, when you subsurface lighting is like if you were to have like a bright flashlight and you put it right behind your skin. Your skin is somewhat translucent in color, so when you put the flashlight behind your hand, it kind of shows red through, and that's because of the blood vessel color coming through. Let me see if I can find an example. Here's a great example. This is what I'm looking for. this is subsurface scattering. So see how like the light is directly behind and you get like these orangey glows or reddish glows right behind the skin, right? Around those edges and stuff like that where the light is coming through. That is subsurface scattering. And it's just basically the red of your blood coming through the translucentness of your skin. So when you add a little bit of that orange through here in that light, it's just kind of making it feel a little bit warmer and a more real and looking like skin by adding that kind of orangeness into the skin a little bit. Well, I don't know how they did this little piece up here. Because I like realize mine is different. Unless they didn't do a hard light. They might not have done hard light. And they only did maybe the glow. That could be it. Let's try. Aha, it is what they did. So they didn't add a hard light. I thought it was done with a hard light. They did just glow light for this. Like I said, here's the part of art where you just kind of keep messing around until you find the effect that you're looking for. So that's what they ended up doing here. So I just deleted, I kept some of the hard light. But I got rid of the majority of the hard light, and then I just increased the glow light at the top of her head here. Hey, I learned that back when I was learning Blender. Heck yeah. And then for an added bonus, you can also on this glow layer, to make it a little bit more real. Actually, sorry, not on the clipping layer. So this you do not want to be clipped down. I'm going to be adding little strands of hair that come out here, right? So you don't want the clipping layer, right? Because the clipping layer is going to cut this off and you want it to come out. You want to see those stray hairs glowing in the light, right? Yep, and there we go. Added a little bit of finishing little detail highlights. So there is now a spotlight example. So that really, really harsh light and kind of showing the glow feature, right? How it really makes, it kind of gives like different colors into it. And definitely makes it look like something is reflective or shining off. So those are those two examples. Next she did this one. She just basically touched up the skin. So again, you can see like the difference here, right? Where the skin color is very, very dark. So in this example, she just made a layer over top of that multiply layer, made it turned to soft light. And then we're gonna just pick up kind of a more orangey red color, get our airbrushing pen, and we're just going to add kind of that blood back into her skin, right? So she's not as dark. Makes it look more realistic, right? See the difference this makes? Oh, and I also forgot to flip this down. Oh, I forgot one other little detail that I remember Isham talking about on the last piece. I almost forgot. On this one, you can also add in the layer that's not clipped, back with your like little highlights. You can take a soft airbrush and just add a little glow to the environment. So it looks like it's kind of hazy, right? Like it's so bright you can see a haze kind of coming off the brightest points. Right? See how it like kind of just has like a little softness? It's basically so bright and it's reflecting so much, it's just softening kind of the edge that's here, right? Making that diffuse a lot more and kind of become blurred because it's so bright. It's blending in with the ambient air around it. Almost forgot that. So yeah, there's that. And then yeah, again for this one, they just basically touched up the skin color and then added a little bit, I believe, of glow for that lighting as well. So you can make another one, add a little bit of glow. And again, we're just gonna add that yellow, or not yellow, sorry, the orange, kind of an orangey red color. And we're just gonna add it to those spots of lighting. And it's just gonna make it look a little more realistic. And for these, I'm barely touching. We're just giving it ever so lightly. Of a touch. Very light hand. And here on these bangs, it's okay to add a little bit of that orange into the hair because it's gonna make it look like the hair is more transparent and the skin color is shining through there a little bit, right? So it just makes the hair look a little bit more transparent, and it's very much like a very popular anime technique is to have the skin color shining through the bangs because it makes it look less harsh and thick and a little bit more faint and more dainty, I guess, more delicate. Yeah, so there is kind of like that harsh underglow lighting example. Oops. So you can kind of see what we had before, right? Just fixing up that skin color to be a little bit more natural here. Changing the skin tone to match whatever color you have underneath. So it's not just for skin too. Like if I had this dark shadow, you know, or if I had used the orange over top of the hair, right? The skin color on the hair, I would have to go in and change the color of the hair to be more of like a blue, gray color to make it not look orange, right? Does that kind of make sense? So you want to adjust your colors to what their natural color is underneath a little bit. So you're kind of doing color theory and mixing in a way where it's like if I have a more orange light and I'm putting it on top of something that's like more blue, you know, my color is gonna be more reddy purple somewhere in there because you're mixing the red and the blue together to make more purple, right? Color mixing. All right, so the next one here, we're doing this guy. I'm gonna make another layer on top, and I'm gonna make it a soft light layer to first adjust the skin tone color, right? Oh, let's show our example over too. So in this example, they keep with like, there's less environmental light in this one. This one is much more just a harsh white studio light behind them, right? So that's why you're gonna get more of that cooler shadow is going to stay because with the white light. So I am still gonna adjust the color of the skin though, so I am gonna add in just a little bit more of that orange with a airbrush. So lightly just add that in. And again, you don't have to perfectly, you know, be in the lines exactly. Like I'm just using a airbrush over this just to generally bring that color back, but you don't have to have it like exactly only where the skin is, right? We're doing kind of that ambient and reflected light. So again, it kind of like is bouncing all over the place. So you don't have to be as perfect and exact. Colors can kind of blend and mix a little bit here, right? You don't have to be exactly where the shadow is. Some of it you can draw over the hair a little bit and such, right? It's gonna be fine. So think broad and just flow. All right, so then I'm gonna make another layer on top, and we're going to use this one might be more of the hard light. And we're using a cool blue light. Let's see, yes. So yeah, they wanted just like a cold lighting. We're gonna use hard light here to draw over. And brighten up. These areas. And then I'm also going to use a harsh brush to really show how harsh this backlighting is. And again, don't be afraid to add some loose strand pieces over like we did with the spotlight. And remember, the outer edge on the backlit, the closer you are to that edge of the character, the brighter that rim lighting is going to be. So when I'm drawing on the edges of the hair and stuff, I'm adding the brightest hard light drawing to the outer edges of these hairs. So I'm closest to the edge. Also, wait, cheese quackers! Thank you for the subby, and welcome to the Demon Army for 3 months. Hope you're doing well. Too harsh. Too harsh. So yeah, for the same thing with this one that we did with the spotlight, we can also add some of these loose hairs as well. And it will just make it have more of a kind of realistic appearance. And also make it a little bit more, and it makes it feel a little bit more feminine when you can kind of like see those loose hairs coming off. It really makes the piece look very delicate. So there we are. There is our backlit example. And then the last one that they do here is this blind example, or standing at the window example. And for this one, they decided to do it like as if they're looking like in the morning or like at a sunset or something like that. So you get more of those, that red light from the sunset coming through the window, or like that morning daylight kind of feel. Instead of like, as opposed to the evening light where you're gonna be using more cool and blue tones. For morning light, you're gonna use more of the warm tones or like reddish hues. So, for this one, I think what they did originally, I think they changed this blue color that they put over. So if we want to change it more to a reddish hue, we can hit Control U, and it's going to bring up that hue, saturation, and luminosity menu. Sorry, you won't be able to see it on my screen. But if we change the hue color, see how we're going to be changing kind of the mood and lighting of the character, right? Just by moving that multiply layer color, changing it from blue, the hair color of blue that we chose, we're now just affecting kind of that ambient temperature of the environment, right? So, for more of a daylight color, we're gonna get closer to these kind of reddish yellow hues. Let's go somewhere in there to start. And then again, I'm gonna make a new layer over top, and I'm going to switch it to soft light. Combine that down. And first I'm gonna start by adding more yellow into these darker skin areas, just to lighten them up and make them feel, whoops, with a soft brush. Airbrush, just to make them feel a little more skin colory. I think what I'm also gonna do to this multiply layer, I'm going to make it a little bit brighter. I'm gonna add a little more saturation to it too, I believe. There we go. All right. Go. So we got some more daylight coming through. And I guess they really changed the color temperature wonder if I made, whoops. Another layer, and I'm gonna try adding an overlay to it. So for the overlay, I'm gonna choose more of that reddy orange sunset color. Let's see if this adds more of that. Yes, color temperature. So they add an overlay layer to give it more of that reddish hue coming from the window. Just to really lock in that sunset feel. I've been listening to this while playing Minecraft. It's nice little background vibes. I do the same thing. All right, and then same thing that we did for the harsh light coming through. I'm going to now use a glow and a bit of a orangey yellow color and emphasize these lights coming through. So they made their hair very brown almost. I feel like it changes the original hair color too much in my opinion. Like I feel like this character has a different hair color than all the others. So I'm not gonna change it that much personally. I think this looks closer to the original character. So that's just me and my preference. Maybe in my... I'm also gonna do a thing here. I believe this is how you do this. I want the multiply color back, right? If I were to just click this, I'm going to pick up the color that you see, which is not the color I want for my multiply layer, if that makes sense. So I'm going to change pick up color from layer, and that should pick up the shade color from the layer. See how it's different on my color wheel? The color that is displayed there is that bottom ring, but what I'm picking up is that kind of like top color, right? So if I want to pick up the color from only the specific layer that I am on, you can use that pick up color from layer button. And then now when I draw, it will be the multiply color, right? Whereas if I were to draw with the other color, it wouldn't have been the same. So that's another little tip. And I'm just gonna kind of harsh that nose bridge in. Harshen up that nose bridge. And then I'm just gonna add some of these. Shadows we talked about into the hair. Now jump it back to the glow layer because I just noticed I want to add a little bit more here. And this is just like how art goes. It's like, oh, I want to lighten up the hair a little bit here. So I jump back to this because I noticed it. And you just kind of keep jumping around, editing things. But there you go. There are our 6 lighting examples. Ta-da! What do you think? What do you think? So this is the Isham work. Here is my work. I feel like I definitely still have some for improvements in areas. You know, it's not 100% there, but not too bad, I think, for following along. I did this one while you did the top-down lighting head, since I didn't get that one done from the layer scuff, and I had a different idea for this one, and I took a chance. Yeah, I don't know if it works, but hopefully that's all right. Totally. So that will be kind of the homework now. So you can either, if you didn't get all of them finished, again, like if you were slow and lagging behind me, that's totally fine and understandable. But yeah, just finish up these examples as kind of your practice. And then for homework, what you can do too is just make up your own lighting scenario. So you can change, you know, your color temperature. You can find an example again, like what we were doing before. You can find a lighting example that you like from our warm-ups, right? And then just apply your sphere that you did to the head, right? So we have some extra space on my page, so I will take a head, paste it, and then I can just make up my own little scenario here. So that'll be very good practice to do your own. So you could do two more examples. I've got space for it on my page. So yeah, that will be kind of the homework, and that basically brings us to a close on our lesson for this week. So yay, congratulations, you made it through. Foxy's playing the Better Minecraft server. It's a good one. So yeah, homework is making up more lighting scenarios for this little head practice. You can also draw your own head to keep up practice from the previous lessons. Draw your own head and add it lighting to that as well. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Huh? Huh, Fox? Why are you hunting? What's the huh for? Oh, other Fox. Yeah, sorry, Foxy. Foxy, not Fox. Foxy lays. I was talking about the Minecraft. Yeah, so get some more practice in your lighting now and applying. Basically, we are now applying the first lesson and the second lesson together. So again, kind of break it down how we did these examples. If you remember, we started out first. We look at like the first head, right? We started out by just drawing the cast shadows and form shadows with like a standard color, which in this case, we just used the hair color. And then on top of that, we edited up. You'll always want to edit up the skin. If you're using like a darker shadow or something like that, you might need to make it lighter compared to the rest of your model. So that's something, just pay attention to the skin color. You might need to color correct it. And then 2, adding in any ambient lighting and color temperature to denote either the time of day or the light source that you have. So again, lesson 1, adding those forms and shadows. First, makes it easy, standard, you're just using one color. And then on top of that, you can correct and add in your environment from there. So yeah, that'll be kind of the 2 main steps. You want to take it in 2 steps. Start big, generic, dark whatever shadow, and then go in and add those ambient lighting details, etc. So, hello, Red Bean, welcome in. We are just finishing up our homework and lessons for today. So we're actually just at the end of stream here. Sorry I missed out. And also hydration. I don't have water. I will be sure to get a big thing of water once I finish stream here. But I will stretch. My back has actually been really, really sore lately. So I've been needing these stretches. It's been so sore, it's been waking me up in the middle of the night lots too. I don't know why. So I'm going to export this right now, so you guys can see my practice examples too. Oh, let's get rid of this head. And I'm just gonna mark the date on it too. This is 2024 09/24. And this is application of light lesson. Here we go. I'm going to save. And I will paste my homework into the Discord. Mandarin fish, big money. Application of light. To the Discord. Upload my work. And then yeah, we'll find somebody to raid. We'll find hopefully an artist to raid, but who knows? We'll see who's online. Maybe somebody will catch my attention. So I posted my examples there so that you can see my work too, if you need to, in the Discord. And that should be everything. So let's see. Next Tuesday, there is not going to be an art lesson. So next Tuesday is going to be the start of October. So we won't have a lesson. So just keep practicing your lighting, or, you know, if there's a lesson you want to go back and review, like if you're like, I'm really having struggles drawing hair, or I'm really having difficulties nailing the face shapes or something, just go back to one of the previous VODs and, you know, maybe refresh and touch up so you can just review anything that we've previously learned. Yeah, just a little bit of extra practice time. Learn art playlist. So yeah, if you're new here, all the VODs for these art classes that I've been going through are in a convenient playlist on my VOD channel. You can check them out there on YouTube. And yeah, like I said, next week we won't have something because I have some extra, hopefully extra special stuff planned for Tuesday next week, because it is the start of spooky season. Almost October, guys. Almost October already. And also Blaze with a nya 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 nya. Almost Phasmo time. Almost Phasmo season. Can you just quickly show me what the homework is for this week? So homework for this week is practicing lighting on your heads. So this course material you can grab from the Discord, and then you're just going to be applying different lighting situations to these heads. So like here we had, you know, side lighting, we did a top-down spotlight kind of thing, underglow, backlighting. So you're just going to be applying different lighting scenarios onto an anime character, right? Instead of a sphere now. You're actually applying it to something that's a little bit different than just a sphere. But don't be intimidated. Tips are very similar, so. Or should we go Lethal Company this year? I've never done Lethal Company. It is an option. Also 7 with A. Nya nya. Oh, it is a nyada nyada. Nyada nyada. Almost got it wrong. Almost got the wrong one. Can't be having that. Can't be having nyas when you have nyaras. And then let us find. Whoa. Whoa. Zelda is on, and I very rarely get to raid Zelda, I feel like, especially when I'm doing an art stream. So yeah, we'll go give them some love. I think they have their anniversary. Yeah, they're doing an anniversary design. Their 4-year anniversary. There is Khan as well. Khan is also doing art, but I feel like I rarely get to do art raiding into Zelda art. So we're gonna go raid Zelda. And we'll do a happy anniversary message. So I want confetti. I want that confetti. And we're gonna have happy anniversary raid. And of course, if you don't have my emotes, feel free to use any kind of celebration emotes with the happy anniversary raid message. Must draw the heads and the hair along with the light, or do you have the same type of image thing as last time? Yeah, in the Discord, you can find the bases. There is course material. So you don't have to draw the base. If you want to, it's not gonna hurt. You're only gonna be strengthening if you wanna draw your own face and then use that as an example to do a bunch of light onto. You're only gonna improve your art. So if you wanna do that, go for it. If you're running short on time, then you can use something that you've drawn previously, or you can use the course material, whatever is best for you in your time. But yeah, if you got the extra time, draw your own head, right? We do have extra time. You're gonna have 2 weeks for this homework. So if you wanna draw your own head and do your own lighting examples on that, I think that is a great way to just get better. You're only gonna strengthen those skills. The more times you recall that information from the previous lessons, the better you're gonna get, so. It's that recalling of information that makes us learn and improve as artists, so. Yeah, and then, like I said, raid message 2. There we go. So yeah, if you don't have my emotes, feel free to use the Foxfire raid there, but if you do have mine, use the happy anniversary raid. And yeah, I think that'll be it. Tomorrow in the Discord, we will be watching Spice and Wolf again. So if you like to watch anime, we watch anime at 6 p.m. Pacific in our Discord. And then I'll be off Thursday, Friday, and we'll be back on Saturday with more Minecraft, and then Sunday for some more Death's Door. So that's kind of the rest of this week's schedule. Check out the Discord, or whoops, that's not how you spell socials. There's my social links there again, so if you're interested or new, check out the other things I have going on. But yeah, thank you very much again. Yeah, still no Thursday stream, because we're gonna be doing some Minecraft again on Saturday, so. Buy the merch! We do have merch. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's everything, so let's go. Boop. Look at all those Soldas. I hope you have a good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time zone it is for you, Foxfires. I hope it's a good one. If you are off to bed, sweet dreams to you. But if you're just starting your day and you're looking for another amazing artist, we're gonna go raid Zelda here. So thank you, and good luck with the art. Bye-bye.